Putin threatened to arm North Korea if the West continued to supply weapons to Ukraine. Guards stand underneath the portrait of North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un and the Russian President Vladimir Putin during Putin's visit to Pyongyang on June 19, 2024. CNN, Vladimir Putin has threatened to arm North Korea if Western countries continue providing military aid to Ukraine, as the Russian president's new defense pact with Pyongyang sparked a series of diplomatic revelations in the region. Putin's remarks at the end of the state visit to Vietnam capped off the week in which Moscow sought to rattle the West and project strength from the part of the world in which his influence still carries weight. Those who supply these weapons believe that they are not at war with us, I said, including in Pyongyang, that we then reserve the right to supply weapons to other regions of the world, Putin told the reporters Thursday at the end of his trip to Hanoi in response to a question on whether the supply of Western long-range weapons could be considered an act of aggression. Where they will go next, he said, suggesting those countries could then sell the weapons to Western adversaries. The U.S. called Putin's remark incredibly concerning in the briefing on Friday. It would destabilize the Korean Peninsula, State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller told the reporters, and depending on the type of weapons they provide might violate UN Security Council resolutions that Russia itself has supported. Russia and North Korea's signing of the Mutual Defense Pact this week sent rippled out across the region, with South Korea summoning Moscow's envoy on Friday and Japan and the United States voicing serious concern. Defense pact, which comes against the backdrop of Putin's grinding war against Ukraine, is the most significant agreement signed by Russia and North Korea in decades, and is seen as something that revival of their 1961 Cold War era mutual defense pledge. The deal was inked on Wednesday during Putin's trip to Pyongyang, where he received a lavish welcome from fellow autocrat Kim Jong-un, North Korea's leader. It consolidated the Kim regime's powerful link with the world power that wields a veto on the UN Security Council, and means Russia now has the defense pact with South Korea's biggest enemy. South Korea, a US ally, condemned the treaty and summoned Russia's ambassador on Friday, a rare diplomatic step that illustrated the soured tensions between Seoul and Moscow. First Vice Minister Kim Hong-kyun relayed the South Korean government's stern position on Kim and Putin's defense pact, urging Moscow to immediate the hurt military cooperation with Pyongyang and abided by U.S. Security Council resolutions, the foreign ministry said. Kim told the Russian ambassadors that other cooperation that could directly or indirectly help reinforce the North Korean military power is the violation of the UN Security Council resolution, adding that Russia, a permanent member of the UNSC, should act responsively, according to the ministry. An official of the U.S. military, which maintains almost 30,000 troops in South Korea, told the CNN the closer U.S.-North Korea ties are troubling. These developments should concern any country that cares about maintaining peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula, abiding by U.S. Security Council resolutions, and supporting the people of Ukraine as they defend their freedom and independence against Russia's brutal invasion, the military official said. New threats. Putin flew to Vietnam on Thursday, where he renewed threat towards both the Western powers and their partners in Asia. Speaking to Russian journalists at the end of the visit, he accused of NATO of creating a threat for Russia in Asia. And we see what's happening in Russia, right? The bloc system is being cobbled, cobbled together in Asia. NATO is already moving there as the permanent place of residence. This, of course, creates the threat for all countries in the region, including the Russian Federation. We are obliged to respond to this and will do so. Putin said. Putin warned South Korea on Thursday it would be making a big mistake if it decided to supply arms to Ukraine, claiming Seoul has nothing to worry about concerning the new strategic partnership signed by Russia and North Korea. As far as I know, the Republic of Korea does not plan aggression against the DPRK, which means there is no need to be afraid of our cooperation in this area, he said. North Korea says Kim and Putin's defense pact permit all available means to assist each other if either nation is attacked. But at the same time, senior Russian government officials were warning that Moscow planned to send weapons to North Korea. I wonder what the people of this country, South Korea, will say when they see the latest Russian weapons from their closest neighbors. Our partners from the DPRK, senior Russian official Dmitry Medvedev said in the post on Telegram, US and South Korean forces hold regular exercises and training in and around the Korean Peninsula, and the two allies have been working more closely with Japan, including recent exercises involving forces from all three countries. The National Security Director Chang Ho-jin said South Korea would review the issue of arms provision into Ukraine, but he also noted that Seoul was willing to wait for the Russian government explanation of the result of the meeting between Putin and Kim Jong-un. Currently, South Korea's policy is not to provide lethal weapons to Ukraine. When later asked about those comments, Putin said, as for the supply of lethal weapons to combat drones in Ukraine, this will be a big mistake. I hope that this will not happen. If this happens, then we will also make appropriate decisions which are unlikely to please the current leadership of South Korea. Ukrainian soldiers with the 57th Motorized Brigade operate at the artillery position on June 9, 2024 near Bovchansk, Kharkiv region, Ukraine. Report from early in the war say South Korea may have provided 155 millimeter artillery shells to the United States to replace the 155 millimeters rounds to the South Ukraine. A recent report from the Center for Strategy and International Studies called the CSIS said South Korea's stockpile of 105 millimeter rounds could give Ukraine an important battlefield boost if it were released to Kiev. Public reports suggest South Korea has around 3.4 million 105 millimeter artillery shells, the CSIS report said. Ukraine has about 105 millimeter artillery pieces, the report said. During the Vietnam War, these lighter Hotwires proved indispensable in fire bases, given their high mobility by road and air. Their lightweight and mobility would allow the Ukrainian artillery units to relocate quickly after firing, a crucial tactic for survivability on the modern battlefield. These hotwires would also allow the Ukrainian battlefield commanders to conduct attacks on low authoritarian against the high-value target, the CSIS report said. Earlier on Thursday, Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshiyama Hayashi also expressed strong concern about the agreement signed by Russia and North Korea. The fact that Putin did not rule out military tactical cooperation with North Korea, which could be a direct violation of the relevant UN Security Council resolutions, is a point of serious concern from the perspective of its possible impact on the security environment surrounding our country, Hayashi said in a press conference. CNN's Hanako Montgomery and Mike Valerio contributed to this report.